Hi guys, today's February 15th. I'm coming on here today to tell you of quite a few things that happened. I want to tell you of a dream that I had, and it was disturbing to me because I took me a minute to get the interpretation. I've had many people help me with the interpretation. These dreams lately have gotten more and more intense, and I know it's because we're the ending of the church age and getting ready to go home. So I'm going to tell you my dream and then get into what I wanted to tell you. I dreamt about Donald Trump. I know, that's a sore subject for a lot of people. They don't want to even hear his name. But unfortunately, God has me talking about him and dreaming about him for the sleepers, is what I've been getting. Not many people are brave enough to get on and speak the truth because they just want their ears tickled, and I'm not one to do that. So I was in a huge house. I'm talking about house, and in my dream, this house was all white. Everything in my dream was white, and not just white. I'm talking about bright, heavenly, bright white the whole time. And there was a fire that the house was on fire. Okay. And I had to try and get my belongings, but what I ended up grabbing was my Bible study books, and my glasses. And I ran into a room that was in the wall that had money. And it was in a Ziploc bag, and I grabbed $10,000. I got out of the house, but the fire was following me, and it was attacking every place that I went, but it was going slowly. So I went to go into another home, but which was connected through a door, but it was like it was as if I was in the same house, but it was a different house. And I had to get more money out. But the fire kept following me, and I saw that my father-in-law, Jeffrey, and I got into a see-through glass tub, kind of like a dunking tank, only it was up to our necks and our arms were stretched out in front of us like this, right? And we were sitting down, all right? And it was also white, the rest of it around it, and we had our clothes on. It was full of water. I said, "We need to go. The fire is coming fast." And he said, no, I'm not going. I'm staying here. And I said, if you stay here, you're not going to be safe. So then I took my husband and my two kids, which all of a sudden appeared at this time, and I told them, let's go. And I said, we need more money. And I went to a wall that was all white, and it looked like paneling. So I took these paneling pieces off, and behind it was a white casket. I'm talking about, and it like had some sparkles in it. It was a really pretty casket. And I opened it, and I happened to see these. It was full of that Cheeto shaped styrofoam pieces, like for packing, like the packing peanuts, that people put yeah, that's what it looked like. But it was slapped full of money, and the money in this was all wrapped up in red ribbons. Okay. And the next thing I go to leave, and Donald Trump is standing there in a blue suit, staring at me, laughing in this evil like voice and stare. And I said, "You're annoying, go away." But he didn't. He kept following me, and I was getting more and more irritated until I looked behind me and I saw that he was engulfed around flames. But the fire didn't touch him. He still had the same. Sorry, hold on. I got to turn off all my volumes and stuff so we have no distractions. But he still had that same evil grin smiling at me. And then I woke up. Okay. I'm first off going to tell you that we know that, when something bad happens, we cling to things that we are closest to, and we find comfort in them, just like I find comfort in God's word. And it probably would be me. I mean, I would be that type if my house was on fire to grab my Bible and my Bible studies, because it took me, 6 years to get this type of understanding, and to lose that would be devastating to me. But going from place to place, and a fire that's kept following me, we know that something bad is coming. There is fire. There is devastation that is coming, and it's coming after us Christians. It's targeting us. We're getting ready to target us. And my father-in-law, him being immersed in the water, represents a Holy Spirit water baptism. And but me, I was willing to get out. I was willing to grow. I was willing to leave. Okay. And the thing is, his name means divinely peace and traveler, but he's also not a man of God, and he's an alcoholic. So, and every time I'd speak to him about God, he's kind of disregards me. He's like, yeah, 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 yeah. Just one of those whatever types. All right. And, he is that world. He's staying behind. He doesn't see what's coming. Just like many of these people, we're sitting out here warning, telling people of what's coming, and they're refusing to listen. So, anyways, the date was the 12th. So 212, it means a wheel, boastfulness, and pride. Okay. And, the Antichrist, the Satanist, have that pride, that haughtiness, that, I'm better than anybody. And so the casket that was hidden in the wall, okay, meaning, okay, it's getting ready to be unveiled, which means this is an event that's getting ready to happen. And I believe that, which I've had triple confirmation on this, is the financial collapse. That's the next event. And that what's going to happen out of this is the Antichrist is going to rise. Okay, and the mark of the beast and everything, and him, Trump, just standing there staring at me. Blue is of royalty, and without him being touched, we know that anybody that gets left behind, leadership wise, that play a role in like the false prophet and stuff, before their time comes, they will not be harmed from the judgments. Once God's wrath comes, they're going to be punished, obviously, but God's going to give them their time, to be able to rule and set forth things into place. Now, my confirmations that I've received on this is through scripture, and I'm going to read you the scripture, as well as an article that was sent to me in my email through the Breaking Israeli News. And so it is a big deal of what is about to happen. I'm going to read to you. Well, I'm not going to read to you. I'm going to tell you. It said that, this was on February 11th, that the Pope pushes one world religion on Israel's Independence Day. He wants it May 14th of 2020. And I remember stating last year about that, about the Pope wanting that. Well, this was a brand new article right after I had, I had this. I didn't even look at this February 11th. Okay, I looked this up the 12th. Okay, because I get annoyed with a lot of emails. So I pushed it aside, but I was led after I had this dream to just scroll through, because I ended up getting this Pope New World Order thing, which is confirmation that the New World Order is about to happen through the financial collapse and things that's going to happen. And So God promises that he is going to protect his people. Revelations 3:10. Revelation 3, talking about the church of Philadelphia, how they're going to be taken out before God's wrath, before the judgments that's set forth to come upon the whole entire world. Okay. The timing of Antichrist's rule, because that's when the 144,000 step in and minister. Okay, so now I'm going to read to you a bit and piece of Revelation 8 into Revelation 9, and this is confirmation of my dream. So there's the 7 seals, okay? We've got 7 seals, 7 trumpets, and then we've got the bowl judgments, okay? There's 1,260 days of, which is 42 months of Satan's rule, okay? That is what he gets. That's what the Bible says that he gets. And then you've got, the trumpets, which is, okay, I'm going to read to you. Anyways, the 7 seals. Some believe they have not been opened. Others believe that there has. And me, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm just here to read to you the confirmation that I've received. Okay, the first angel sounded, second angel sounded, third, fourth, fifth. Okay, now, and then it says in verse 12, Revelation 8:12, then the fourth angel sounded, and a third of the sun was struck, a third of the moon, a third of the stars, so that a third of them were darkened, a third of the day did not shine, and likewise the night. And I looked, and I heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, woe, woe, woe to be the inhabitants of the earth, because of the remaining blasts of the trumpet of the 3 angels who are about to sound. Revelation 9:1 on. Then the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fallen from heaven to the earth. To him was given the key to the bottomless pit. This is Satan, okay, the Antichrist rising. And he opened the bottomless pit, and smoke arose out of the pit like the smoke of a great furnace. So the sun and the air were darkened because of the smoke of the pit. Okay, and then out of the smoke, locusts came upon the earth, and to them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have the power. Okay, and the abyss would be, okay, how do I explain this? The casket. The Antichrist will die. You have a deadly head wound, and he will rise again 3rd day, just like Jesus did, as it's talking about. It's an assumption of the 3 days. It doesn't necessarily say that it's going to be 3 days, or at least I have not read that. But Satan mimics God, okay? So therefore that casket representing, the financial collapse, and then, you got Satan that's rising up out of the pit, which, from death out of the grave, or the underground bunkers, and then those who they have had would be the locusts, would be, the AI, the artificial intelligence, and you've also got the clones. You just got all kinds of other things, which, I mean, it makes sense about what would out of the abyss, out of the earth, is where they would rise, which I also believe would be demons as well. So as far as all that, I don't have a clear understanding, but I mean, this is what God's been showing me, through dreams and things. It just makes sense. Then out of the smoke, locusts came upon the earth. Okay, I already read that. And they were commanded not to harm the grass of the earth or any green thing or any tree, but only those men who did not have the seal of God on their foreheads. You see, even during this tribulation time, they are not allowed to harm God's people, because God's people are saved. They are completely taken care of during this time. Okay, and they were not given authority to kill, but to torment them for 5 months. Their torment was like the torment of a scorpion when it strikes a man. In those days, men will seek death and will not find it. They will desire to die, and death will flee from them. The shape of the locusts was like horses prepared for battle. On their heads were crowns of something like gold, and their faces were like the faces of men. They had their hair like women's hair, and their teeth were like lions' teeth, and they had breastplates. and breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was like the sound of chariots with many horses running into battle. Okay, they had tails like scorpions, and they were stings in their tails. Their power was to hurt men for 5 months. Now, you go on down, and it starts talking about, the other trumpets that have been blown, and about a vision, and yada, yada, yada. Well, it starts talking about Wormwood. Okay, and now the reason why I'm bringing this up about Wormwood, let me find it real quick. Oh, right here. Going back to chapter 8. Okay, 8 verses 10 and 11. Okay, then the third angel sounded, and a great star fell from heaven, burning like a torch, and it fell on a third of the rivers and on the springs of water. The name of the star is Wormwood. Okay, and I've had several dreams of this. Okay, and a third of the waters became wormwood, and many men died from the water because it was made bitter. Okay, it has been talked about that this year, in between March, April timing, that this planet, star Wormwood, would be brought back. Gil Brazard, he is the one that has, brought about that and everything. And I've done a study on a live broadcast with him through Google Hangouts a long time ago. And, he had the right, stuff. It was just the wrong year. Well, this is the year that it's being brought back again, not only through him, but other confirmations through, I think they were rabbis or code searchers or whatever. And I know some people are against the codes or things, but I believe God shows people things differently. Now, having said that, a friend of mine now had a dream that he was in a rice field, and there was a man that came up to him, and he saw that the harvest was plenty, and he said, it's time to go, we're going home. And he said, no, I'm not going to go with you because my family's going to miss me. And he said, well, I need you to come with me because I'm going to keep you from the darkness, the judgment that's coming upon the whole earth. Let's go home. And then he woke up. That is a very powerful dream because we know that Jesus Christ is coming. Satan's about to step up. We have the Israeli elections in 14, 15, 16 days. 15 days now. Which I still, once again, it's not going to form a government because the Antichrist is going to rule. And therefore, if they don't bring forth the government, no matter what, Israel's land is about to be divided. And that's another thing. If you guys have watched Revelation 12 or .12, chapter 12 channel, he talks about this. And I'm going to read you just part of this article here. U.S.-Israeli Mapping Committee for Trump's peace plan said it's finalized. Washington has stressed that Israel must hold off on annexing areas of the West Bank until the committee concludes its work. Prime Minister Netanyahu on Monday said Israel will only extend sovereignty to the Jordan Valley as areas of the West Bank with the agreement of Washington. Many settlers leaders, along with Defense Minister Naftali Bennett, have been urging Netanyahu to immediately begin the process extending sovereignty tantamount to annexation. Ever since Trump allowed for it in his peace plan unveiled last month, but Washington has made it clear it wants Jerusalem to wait, and Netanyahu's backed off its promises to speedily take the step. Last week, U.S. Ambassador Friedman appeared to warn the Israeli government against applying sovereignty over parts of the West Bank before next month's Knesset election, citing Trump's mention of the Bilateral Mapping Committee. I am not suggesting that the government of Israel should not do whatever it wants to do. Israel is a sovereign state, but people should know that if the president's position is simply ignored, then we're not going to be in any position to go forward. So they're all up for, the division of this land. And then you also got this other article that says U.S. Israel Sovereignty Committee ready to work as Trump appoints members Okay, and in this article, it talks about tasks to map out areas which would apply to Israel. And it has that Trump has appointed his United States members as well. So he's already announced his people, his team members, and they are going forth with this ready to divide the land. That is the next thing that's going to happen. Financial collapse, Antichrist rule. It's all happening so fast. Okay, and then I want to tell you one last thing, which is going to bring, I know, hope, which is another confirmation of my dream. February 14th, yesterday, my niece was born. She was in labor for 3 hours and she was born. The thing is, she named her Chloe, and Chloe means, it means blooming and fertility. Her middle name is Nicole, and Nicole means people's victory. Her birth weight was, we were told it was 6 pounds 6 ounces, which we know is Satan, but someone else said it was 6 pounds 1 ounce. So if that be the case, it means a catch, a hunting, and of truth. So therefore, as I have mentioned in my dream, judgment is coming. It is following this. What's going to happen is when the New World Order takes place, martial law be implemented, with this coronavirus and all this other mumbo jumbo that's going on. America's not going to be able to leave. They're going to be completely surrounded by martial law on all four corners. And it's a big deal because America's going to be split. And I know that God's judgment is going to come upon the leaders that divide this land. And the one that has made this possible is Trump. I'm not for the man. I'm not against the man. I know who he is, biblically speaking, on a standpoint. And I know where we're at. And I know we were very, very close. I'm hoping and praying before the elections that the 4 rabbis have said their Messiah will come. And if not, we're going to have to keep holding on and pressing forward to that finish line, because we are there, brothers and sisters. God bless you all, and you have a magnificent evening.